Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1160A, and today's date is December 23rd, 2016, and the title of the episode is New York Fed's Coincident Economic Index Just Turned, Collapse Ahead. Now, before I get started, I have two announcements. I want to wish everyone a happy holiday, no matter what holiday you're spending, what holiday you're celebrating. Have a healthy and happy holiday. My second announcement is on Saturday morning. I'll be putting up an interview with Lior Gans. It should be up around 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those people who are on the X22 Report email alert system will get an email. If you're subscribed to YouTube, YouTube should send you an email. If not, you can just come right over to YouTube, type in X22 Report Spotlight. It will bring you right to the video. Or you can go to the x22report.com site, scroll down, you'll see it on the right-hand side. Same thing with newssentinel.com. Scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side, and you can play the video there. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we can see the market did not reach 20,000 just yet. It's moving down, it's moving up a little bit, and I'm really getting the feeling that the central bank, the elite, Obama, they are definitely waiting until at least Thursday, most likely Friday, to push the Dow over 20,000 points. So everyone will go out of 2016 believing that the economy is incredible. The Dow is over 20,000, and people will then go into the new year thinking that, look what Obama did. Look what the central bank has done. And we can see this is the type of moves they use. Look at the election. All of a sudden, before the election, unemployment came down. GDP went up. It's all orchestrated to make people believe in a certain way. And we can see from the real economic indicators, the hard data, well, things aren't making any sense. There is an odd divergence in the latest Michigan Consumer Sentiment print. On one hand, the December index of consumer sentiment rose by 93.8 in November to 98.2, up from the preliminary 98 print, even as long-term inflation expectation, those in the 5 to 10-year bucket dropped from 2.5% to 2.3%, a new all-time low print, which is odd because the very reason for the surge in confidence is due to the recent spike in the market, driven higher by expectations of rising inflation, something which apparently has not filtered through to the ordinary U.S. consumer. And we can see right now, a lot of this information is not making any sense whatsoever. And this is the point that I made many reports ago when we look at the statistical information and it starts to separate from what the government is telling us and from what's really going on in the economy. Actually, we have confirmation right now that the new jobs that we've been seeing, the few new jobs that we've been seeing, even though the U.S. government is telling us that unemployment's at 4.6%, we've been telling everyone that this is part-time work. And there was a report by Harvard and Princeton economists Lawrence Katz and Alan Kruger, and they confirm exactly what we've been talking about. In their study, they show from 2005 to 2015, the proportion of Americans who were engaged in work, well, the work they were receiving was part-time or alternative work. This type of work soared during the Obama era from 10.7% in 2005 to 15.8% in 2015. Alternative or gig work is defined as temporary help agency workers, on-call workers, contract company workers, independent contractors or freelancers, and is generally unsteady without a fixed paycheck and virtually no benefits whatsoever. And we can see right now that this is why when we look at the population, many individuals have more than one job. There are multiple job holders because they lost the high-paying job and they have to work at 1, 2, 3, 4 jobs. And their findings show that 94% of net job growth in the past decade was in the alternative work category. Nearly all of the 10 million jobs created between 2005 and 2015 were not traditional 9-to-5 employment. And workers that were seeking full-time, steady work, well, that has dropped. And we see from their study that the largest population is the young worker. Coming out of college, coming out of high school, they cannot find those high-paying jobs. And we can see right now, this has an effect on the economy. Because when you don't have the full-time high-paying job and you have the part-time job, you're barely getting by. And it trickles down. It trickles into retail. It trickles into housing. It trickles into automobiles. And what we're seeing right now is things are collapsing in these areas. If we look at retail, well, we already have the Limited. They're going to be shutting about 240 stores. They're going bankrupt because of declining traffic. And we see right now that this is not the only store. According to real estate information firm CoStar, nearly 1 billion square feet of retail space will be rationalized in the coming years through store closures and conversions to other uses. And coming from Brian Yarborough, he says a lot of these retailers, they're still in denial. And coming from retail analyst Edward Jones, he thinks Kohl's, JCPenney, Sears, Walmart, well, it looks like they're going to be shutting many of their stores come 2017. And we're going to see a lot of retailers go out of business. Now, the U.S. government central bankers, they came out with more economic data about homes. And again, it does not fit into what is really going on with rising rates, mortgage applications, higher home prices. They're telling us that new home sales, they have surged to all-time new levels. So we have existing home sales, new home sales, while every other economic piece of data is showing the actual opposite. This is starting to look like they are setting this economy up completely to take a fall in 2017. I mean, think about what they're doing right now. The unemployment, they brought down to 4.6%. GDP up to 3.5%. The stock market, well, they're just going to tweak that a little bit. Come Friday, right before New Year's, baby, that's going to hit 20,000. They're telling us that real estate is incredible right now. They're going to tell us that retail is doing well. Actually, they're not even reporting on retail because if you don't mention it, it's really nothing's really happening there. But we've been looking at it and we realize that they're estimating, they're using numbers from last year saying, yeah, we should have the same sales this year. And we're starting to see that stores are already closing. Analysts are already saying that stores are going to be closing and this space is going to be up for grabs, or maybe no one will even take it because who's out there to take this space? And we can see right now that this is a complete setup right now. We see that Credit Suisse has settled with the Department of Justice for $5.3 billion and will pay $2.5 billion to a civil penalty. And we can see right now that this is all about the mortgage-backed securities. This was an ongoing investigation, and this is just a small portion that they have to pay compared to the amount of money that they made off of the mortgage-backed securities. Deutsche Bank also agreed to pay $7.2 billion with the U.S. government. They really wanted $14 billion, but they settled on $7.2. And the same thing. They're going to be paying about $3.1 billion to civil monetary penalty and provide about $4.1 billion in consumer relief in the United States, which is really not that much compared to what they really did to the economy. And believe me, the U.S. government, the Federal Reserve, they were all in cahoots with this whole entire thing. Now we're seeing a huge red flag right now. The CEI, the Coincidence Economic Indicator for the New York State, fell at an annual rate of 1.9%. And what we're seeing right now, every single time that this turns down, we're in a recession, heading towards a depression, heading towards a collapse. Now, the last time the index declined was in November of 2009. And when we look back in time, we can see that it declined during 2009, it declined during 2001, and here we are in 2016. It has just turned, and every time it just turns, it means we're in a recession. We've been in a recession. But guess what? The U.S. government, the corporate media, they don't want to acknowledge this. They don't tell us we're in a recession until the recession is like 6, 7, 8 months in. But we've been in a recession for quite a while. We're heading towards that collapse. And this is why you need to be ready, because we can see that this is a complete setup and they're preparing to bring the entire system down. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.